equitable engagement looks, there is a disparity. In West Louisville, where I'm from, it's a food desert. There are not too many options for healthy foods like fresh vegetables, fresh fruit. In our Kroger's, it is completely different from other places like the East End or the North End. But also a needs assessment. So instead of assuming what we need, the community will tell you what we need, and that will help lift us up in certain areas, especially in education, technology. There are so many opportunities that are missed because, one, people do not know about them, or Metro does not know what we need.
I think equitable engagement means that we have access, regardless of our station in life. We have access to the table, but then also we have equal ability to share our story or our information. And really, in some cases, it's not even equal. It is equitable, meaning that if I am a resident, if I live here, if I am someone who works here, if I have spent my life committed to this community, then maybe your voice doesn't get to be as loud as mine, or maybe there's a resident who has more power, more authority in this particular engagement than someone who believes themselves to be and may well be an expert at equity or health equity or whatever. But I think it's so important for there to be balance in the way the community is presented and represented. So I guess for me, it seems that often we have people at the table, but their voices aren't necessarily heard. And I think sometimes people think, like for me, for example, I'm the president of the Louisville Urban League and I have this background or whatever. And so you would imagine that I would be able to go into certain rooms and my voice really matters and my perspective matters. And the reality is, particularly around issues of race, I have a lot of people who seem to think they know more than me and want to tell me what to do and how to do and want to see us be edited. And so I imagine that from a woman who is a working mother, maybe with 2 children who can't always get to all of the meetings and then showing up and sort of being silenced. That is not equity when you are talking about how to rebuild the community that mother is in and has lived in and built her life in and expects for her children, to thrive in. So I think it's important for us all to ensure that everyone has not only access to the table, but that when they get to the table, their voices are heard and that their voices are, and their power is distributed in such a way that reflects their investment in the community that we're trying to help.
Usually in mainstream, what we do is we expect people to come to our focus groups, for them to fill out surveys, for them to fill out questionnaires, for them to go to a website to go and find the information. But I really think that our job should be to go to the community where they are already, where they live, where they pray, in different schools, different organizations, because if we continue just expecting for people to come and do our job for us, we are never going to hear from the ones that historically and because of oppression and racism and classism and chauvinism are usually invisible. And how also when we engage them, we do it in a way that is meaningful to them. But for us to do that, we need to do our job of asking, of building their relationship, or being within people that are usually not being asked. And also moving away from, we usually use this term, the leaders of this such and such community, the leaders. I think that we need to move away from that, because even, I am a Latina, but that doesn't mean that I speak on behalf of every single Latino in town. I am from Guatemala. That doesn't mean that I talk about every single Guatemalan person in town. So I really think that we need to go to the community to hear and to engage them. If it cannot be individually, but it could be done by families, by affinity groups, by churches. So in that way, we hear what's going on. We understand what their struggles, their barriers, but also celebrate. You know, the part that really needs to be clear is not only about addressing all these problems, all these things, but also for us to focus on celebrating and engaging through the blessings that the communities do have. So without looking at our communities with eyes of patronizing, we can look at them, you know, through their strengths, through all the gifts and blessings that they bring to our city of Louisville.